Oh, I
So
don't
he
want,
got,
yeah.
he missed-
And I'll
missed more
nominate
meetings.
Mike Steffens as the architect. He used to serve on the board many years ago and has agreed to do it again.
Okay,
I'll renominate Ralph Choate
we're going to have to get the board then, correct?
as the registered architect.
No, I don't think we're going to have to get the board.
You don't need the board. All right,
No.
but we got two architects.
No, Ralph
Ralph, okay, yeah, you need to,
Ralph is a reappointment.
you need 3 architects in this
Page
board.
16
Right.
in the board section.
Right, this board needs at a minimum 3 architects.
And I'll nominate Gary Knight for the at-large. He expressed an interest earlier today.
Board appointments.
16, what the hell am I doing here?
Okay, well, where are we at so far?
All right, here.
We're renominating Ralph Choate, Gary Knight for the at-large,
Okay.
Steve Lefton for the landscape architect, Mike Steffens for the architect.
Does everybody like that?
That's fine with me.
Gary Knight is nominated as an at-large member. He
To
would be
replace Michael
filling
Gongora.
Mike Gongora, who you've moved to the Board of Adjustment. And that still leaves one at-large,
No,
right, Gus DeSendewe has resigned.
Oh,
It's a
you're right,
vacant position.
yeah.
Gus was an attorney.
Gus was an attorney, but he was filling the at-large position.
Can we put Louis Martinez there, or?
Does Louis Martinez?
I think you'd have to check with him about design.
Oh, that's,
I think to, nominate people who haven't expressed an interest is dangerous. There will still be one at-large seat that will be open, even if we make all the appointments we just mentioned.
Does anyone know Alex David? I know he sent letters.
Well, how about if we then don't do it
Alex
until
Baldwin.
we,
They don't have a quorum, Matty.
well, but who can we reappoint that it's,
The alternative is to have,
leave the people that are there?
You had
you have
three
Michael.
You had 3 people who've resigned, and 1 person that was appointed to a different board, so you only have 3 members
A
right now.
landscape architect is a very narrow.
Right, it's going to be a very
You don't
difficult
have many of
position
them
to
floating
fill.
around.
No.
You have one that would like to do that.
Right.
That's who again?
Steve Lefton.
Steve Lefton.
And you like it, everybody
Yes.
likes. Can we go with
Somebody
Steve
name it.
Lefton? Is there
Yes.
a motion second? All
Wait,
in
hold
favor?
on, wait a second. The application that I gave you for the.
Mike Steffens.
That's Mike Steffens.
That was included.
I've nominated
We haven't
him.
gotten to that yet, but that will be.
But let's do the landscape architect first.
Steve Lefton
Right.
is a motion by Commissioner Gross, second by
Me.
Whoever.
Commissioner Steinberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, he'll be a member of the
Right,
board.
and we're reappointing Ralph Choate.
Right,
Okay, there's
I'll
a
move
motion
that.
on that by Bauer, second by Gross. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That will be done. How
Now,
many spaces are
So
left?
we done what?
Okay, so you have to appoint
Mike Steffens
Mike
Okay,
Steffens
one.
is good architect.
would
and
be
he-
to fill the architecture slot that's still open.
Okay, doesn't do work in the city and no problem with conflicts or any of that stuff.
He was on
He
the
was,
board
yeah.
several years ago, I believe.
But I'm saying, is that going to,
We've
sometimes,
spoken with him, and he
He's-
thinks that he's okay.
Well,
not gonna
we
be
will
coming-
check him after we nominate him, and I would like to have him check and then brought back. If he has a conflict, he has a
Well, you-
conflict.
They've already checked.
No, we checked, and he's willing to
Okay,
serve.
so why move it?
okay, so we'll move Mr. Steffens.
Yes.
Second.
Second by Gross, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes. Now,
Now you have
2
2
citizen at large.
citizen at large.
Gary Knight, did any,
Is that the
I
only
nominated
one
Gary
open?
Knight.
There are 2
No, there's
citizen at
2.
large
There's 2 slots.
positions open.
So I nominate Nelly Santa Marina.
okay, nomination of Nellie, is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
But do
Opposed?
you know Nellie wants to be on design review? Because,
She does?
No, she was looking for planning.
I
But she
know,
didn't get
but that's
into
totally
planning.
different.
Well,
On the other hand, the gentleman that we had nominated against Gongora is here, Louis Martinez.
Well, we don't know that he
He's on.
wants to.
Oh, he is
He's
on?
on
He's
here?
listed as, he applied.
Okay, let's put Louis.
Okay.
All right, nomination there. There's a motion on Louis, a second.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
aye.
Okay, Louis is on the design. We have one more
Move Gary
open
Knight.
slot.
I'll
You
move
have
Gary
Knight.
No, wait, sorry. Did you, so you have 1 at large left.
That's it.
Is this the
And-
right Louis Martinez, though?
So you
Because I
have,
don't see
Yeah,
what-
yeah.
did you vote for Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that leaves you just 1 at large left. We've heard Commissioner Steinberg mention Alex David. Somebody else mentioned
Well, I
Nellie
mentioned
Santa-
his name. I haven't moved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was asking who he was. I have a note that I got a letter from him. I don't have the letter in
Right.
front of me.
And
I've nominated Gary.
Gary Knight, and was there another name?
Nelly.
Nelly Santa
Nelly.
Maria.
So that, I guess that's a vote then.
All right, that's it for both of those. Is there,
I don't care.
what do you
They're
want to
both
do?
good.
All right, Gary, Gary, there's a motion by Steinberg, second by Smith, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there's your board. Now,
BOA.
we have the city manager's
All
evaluation.
right.
Who would like to come out of the box? You want to tell us what you're getting, Mr. Manager, if we approve your new, not your new contract, but your extension?
Yeah, it's full quorum here.
Yeah.
Interesting, the union president walks in just in time.
Interestingly enough,
I tell you what, we're going to save you till right after we do
quite all right.
Madonna's and the alcohol and nudity ordinance, which, all right, now let us call that one up, please. That is item number,
R5D.
that is an ordinance.
That's R5D.
Can you, R5D, this is an ordinance to permit the sale of alcoholic beverages in totally nude adult establishments. Please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the mayor and the city commission of the city of Miami Beach, Florida, amending chapter 6 alcoholic beverages of the code of the city of Miami Beach, Florida by amending sections 6-40 and 6-41 total nudity and sexual conduct prohibited, and provisions pertaining to establishments permitting partial or total nudity to allow establishments licensed as alcoholic beverage establishments to offer partial and total nude adult entertainment, providing for codification, repeal, or severability, and an effective date.
Well, you can't outweight the press on this one, I'll tell you. Yeah, she's out of the box. Okay. All right.
Would you like
Yes,
for me
why
to
don't you talk to us?
Go, how about this? Okay. This ordinance has been reviewed and discussed by various boards. Planning Board reviewed it at your request. The Nightlife Industry Task Force also reviewed it. The Commission on the Status of Women, we also took it to them and had several discussions with them, as well as the Community Affairs Committee. At that Community Affairs Committee, we sort of discussed all the issues, and the committee had suggested an ordinance that would do the following. It would allow the sale of alcoholic beverages in totally nude establishments. It would require a minimum size of these establishments to be 7,000 square feet, and that's in an effort to try to minimize the impact of these establishments in the city by trying to limit them to larger venues, and the thinking there is that there will be more of an investment and you'd get a higher quality establishment that way. The minimum number of seats in these establishments is at 250 seats, and that would automatically trigger a planning board review and a public hearing notice process. The patronage restrictions would be specified in sections. It would be a conditional use because it's entertainment and it's a venue that has over an occupancy content greater than 200. The patronage restriction would be as per section 6-5. That means that if the establishment is not operating as a restaurant, then because it's selling alcoholic beverages and it has entertainment, it will be treated like other nightclubs, and under 21 will be prohibited from entering the establishment. But if it's a restaurant, just like any other restaurant with entertainment, then the patronage restriction would not be applicable as per section 6-5. This particular one, we're talking about Club Madonna, does not have an alcoholic beverage license. Therefore, it's not a conditional use at this time. It predates the ordinance about entertainment venues. When they come in and apply for the alcoholic beverage license, then that would trigger the new neighborhood impact establishment regulations, and it will require to go to the planning board when they come in to obtain their liquor license.
And it also they put the conditions that they would want, and they monitor it.
Well, you would have a public hearing, whatever concerns the board or through the community input, they would place conditions on
So it has
approval,
to
and
go
they would
through the-
and they would retain jurisdiction. Correct. The ordinance stipulates that signs are subject to the review and approval of either the Design Review Board or the Historic Preservation Board, whichever has jurisdiction. The hours of operation are limited from noon to 5 a.m. It would allow lap dancing, and total nudity would only be permitted while the performers are on stage, not when they're walking around the establishment. That's in a nutshell. Mr. Hill is here from the City Attorney's Office to deal with some of the...
This is not a public hearing, but I know, Doctor, you've been wanting to speak for a while. You've been waiting all day. Come on up here. Anybody else with the urge to speak on this matter? Okay, welcome.
Mayor, thank you for your kindness. The hour is late. I will be very brief. For the record, my name is Morris Sunshine. I think you know I'm opposed to this application or this legislation. The only thing that's really new that you didn't hear when this came before you months ago was that this kind of operation can proliferate. When this thing opened, we thought Mr. Griffith would have a monopoly. That has two sides to it. On the one hand, it's a lucrative monopoly. On the other hand, there would be no proliferation of this type of establishment. Well, at the meeting of the Community Affairs Committee, I learned from Gary Held, who is here, that this kind of establishment can indeed legally proliferate. And that is my concern. You could reduce the probability of its proliferation by amending the ordinance to eliminate lap dancing and rooms for private performances. Thank you.
Okay. The lap dancing issue,
Does this have room for private performance?
I think the ordinance prohibits private
You
booths.
think? How about let's figure it out?
was there something that happened in
Yes,
Los
the
Angeles?
I want to know for sure.
The ordinance prohibits private booths.
Gary, was there something that happened in?
The ordinance prohibit
Private booths.
Okay.
Okay, on the lap dancing issue, was there something that happened in Los Angeles relating to this? Did you
Actually,
mention before that Los Angeles had banned it?
There was, they abandoned their attempt to ban lap dancing.
And what was the rationale?
Originally, they were going to make it illegal.
Yes.
Right.
And then they changed their minds.
Under pressure from the clubs is what I heard from the attorney.
But there wasn't issues relating to constitutionality or legal issues?
No.
Okay.
Can
I
I
would
ask a
like-
question? My big issue is the proliferation one. We're opening the door to Crowbar, Level, and all the other nightclubs who have alcohol that meet the test under this ordinance from now becoming nude establishments, which I think is potentially dangerous. I just think it's not, things aren't broken right now, and, you know, we're barely controlling the nightlife industry, but it is, parts of it are thriving, and I just don't see what good is going to come of this by expanding to allow other people to follow suit and do this, which
Well,
is
There a
the
distance
natural.
separation that
Yeah,
we
the
are...
distance separation requirements are still in place. So there are.
But they can be
strict
waived
requirements.
by the commission, right?
No, the distance separation requirements are not being adjusted.
Right.
Isn't that-
Right, I think you're talking about.
No,
two
we
things.
have our
There's-
own distance right
We have our own distance separation.
We have the
requirement.
300 feet.
300 feet and 1,000 feet from another adult entertainment establishment. And then there's a state statute. that
Do
Mr. Powell
those
was
two
Those will go to the Board of Adjustment.
locations that were mentioned fall within that footage?
What was the second one?
Well, Level doesn't. It's not, it's more than 1,000 feet, I would think.
From Club Madonna?
From Club Madonna.
It might be, yes, yeah.
Are we allowed to,
But the school, that's right, the state statute would control, because they would all be
2,500
within
feet from the
2,500
schools.
feet of school.
then they're within that?
They're within that.
Okay.
Right, so that will come back.
You assured me last time that it would be very hard to have another one because the state prohibit you. Are we
you ha-
changing tunes
No,
now?
you have to go through a process that involves, because of the state statute, review and approval by the planning board, and then 2 public hearings of the city commission. That's what you did with the convention.
And
Yeah,
what
that's what
about
just
if the
happened.
designing?
But we just did that process, bear in mind.
Right,
for
right,
the-
right,
for the
right. That's
convention
why I'm
center.
asking.
So it's
What
not that
about-
hard.
So you're the ultimate arbiters of that.
Yeah, well,
decision.
big deal, you know. When the design, let's say the design review does not approve, does it continue up or does it stop there?
You mean the planning board? The planning board's review is advisory in this instance.
And if it, what?
If it's an advisory role.
So it continues up
continues to
anyway.
you. Yeah.
Just one other issue I'd like to put on the table. At the July 2nd public hearing, there was a discussion about a covenant not to sue, and I'd like to